is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path.
First reading. A reading from the first book of Samuel, chapter 24, verses 2 to 20. Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men out of all Israel and went to look for David and his men in the direction of the rocks of the wild oats. He came to the sheepfolds beside the road, where there was a cave, and Saul went in to relieve himself. Now David and his men were sitting in the innermost parts of the cave. The men of David said to him, Here is the day of which the Lord said to you, I will give your enemy into your hand, and you shall do to him as it seems good to you. Then David went and stealthily cut off a corner of Saul's cloak. Afterward, David was stricken to the heart, because he had cut off a corner of Saul's cloak. He said to his men, The Lord forbid that I should do this thing to my Lord, the Lord's anointed, to raise my hand against him, for he is the Lord's anointed. So David scolded his men severely and did not permit them to attack Saul. Then Saul got up and left the cave and went on his way. Afterwards, David also rose up and went out of the cave and called after Saul, My Lord, the king. When Saul looked behind him, David bowed with his face to the ground and did obeisance. David said to Saul, Why do you listen to the words of those who say, David seeks to do you harm? This very day your eyes have seen how the Lord gave you into my hand in the cave. And some urged me to kill you, but I spared you. I said, I will not raise my hand against my Lord, for he is the Lord's anointed. See, my father, see the corner of your cloak in my hand. For by the fact that I cut off the corner of your cloak and did not kill you, you may know for certain that there is no wrong or treason in my hands. I have not sinned against you, though you are hunting me to take my life. May the Lord judge between me and you. May the Lord avenge me on you, but my hand shall not be against you. As the ancient proverb says, Out of the wicked comes forth wickedness, but my hand shall not be against you. Against whom has the king of Israel come out? Whom do you pursue? A dead dog? A single flea? May the Lord therefore be judge and give sentence between me and you. May he see to it and plead my cause and vindicate me against you. When David had finished speaking these words to Saul, Saul said, Is this your voice, my son David? Saul lifted up his voice and wept. He said to David, You are more righteous than I, for you have repaid me good, whereas I have repaid you evil. Today you have explained how you have dealt well with me, in that you did not kill me when the Lord put me into your hands. For who has ever found an enemy and sent the enemy safely away? So may the Lord reward you with good for what you have done to me this day. Now I know that you shall surely be king, and that the kingdom of Israel shall be established in your hand. The word of the Lord.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to St. Mark, chapter 3, verses 13 to 19. Jesus went up the mountain and summoned those whom he wanted, and they came to him. He appointed 12, whom he also named apostles, that they might be with him and he might send them forth to preach, and to have authority to drive out demons. He appointed the 12, Simon, whom he named Peter, James, son of Zebedee, and John, the brother of James, whom he named Boanerges, that is, sons of thunder, Andrew, Philip, and Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James, the son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. The Gospel of the Lord.
My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, King Saul considered David as his enemy. That is why he took some of his men and went in search of King David, because he wanted to kill King David. Dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, however, King Saul was surrendered to the hands of King David. King David had an ample of opportunity to kill King Saul, but he did not kill him. Instead of killing him, he cut a piece of cloth from the edge of the garment of King Saul, and he took it with him. And when he met King Saul on the following day, he showed the piece of cloth that he tore from his cloak. And by showing it, he told him very, very clearly, I don't have any grudge against you. I have no any enmity with you. My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, King David did not kill King Saul in the first place because King Saul was the anointed one of God the Yahweh. He knew that it is a grave sin to kill someone who was anointed by God the Father. Dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, we know that all of us were anointed with sacred chrisma at the moment of our baptism. And we have priests and religious who were anointed for a special mission. Therefore, we have no right to lay our hands on anointed ones. We have no right to talk ill about the anointed ones. They may have so many negative areas in their lives. They may have a lot of shortcomings in their lives, but still for all, who are we to lay our hands on the anointed ones and to criticize them? In the second place, my dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, King David knew that wickedness must be defeated through righteousness. Wickedness cannot be defeated through wickedness. Evil should be defeated through goodness. That is why he did not retaliate. He did not take revenge from his predecessor, King Saul. My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, in the New Testament, we see Jesus even followed the same principle. Having risen from the dead, Jesus would have taken revenge from those people who acted against him and who crucified him. Jesus would have taken revenge from his disciples who left him alone at the moment of his death. Jesus would have taken revenge from doubting Thomas, who did not believe the resurrection of Christ. But instead of taking revenge, Jesus won the hearts of his disciples, and Jesus won the whole world by forgiving them, by doing good to them. Therefore, we are also invited to follow the same principle. Wickedness cannot be defeated through wickedness. Wickedness should be defeated through righteousness. Amen.